For many years I've had the idea with Kuewa's refit that I would complete everything here in Northern California and then sail straight to the South Pacific and cruise around down there for a little bit. After spending some time in the South Pacific, I thought I would eventually end up back in Kaneohe Bay and see if I could convince the state to give me my old mooring spot off the Malukai house. I've made a lot of headway with systems and equipment and structure and things. There's still a long ways to go to complete the refit. Particularly the interior is still kind of a mess. I've never really refurbished any of the interior. I've just made it worse by tearing things out so that I could access some of the structural things that needed to be done. But I am really happy with the way the improvements have turned out so far, and Kuewa is really pretty close to being ready to be able to make an ocean crossing. With all of that in mind, I was out in Kaneohe in last October, and I stopped by the Heia Harbor Master's office and talked to the Harbor Master there. Again, I'd talked to him many times in the past, and he told me that there was nobody on the wait list at that time for the mooring spot off Malukai. And he also finally, after years of discussion, agreed to allow Kuewa's 44-foot length to moor in there. This might be my last chance to get a mooring in my favorite spot, so I started filling out the paperwork. All of these entities provide the permit for the mooring area, but the hardware is provided by the boat owner. I went back out to Hawaii in February for 6 weeks to do a little sailing with Bill Leary and to put the mooring together. Peter Tsukamoto at Precision Machinery did some computer design work. Charlie at Honomac used his 75-ton horizontal press to bend this 1.25" Monel rod that I brought out on the airplane to use as the bail for the mooring block. Back at Peter's shop, he used some of his 15 different computer-controlled machines to shape some very large thimbles out of some Delrin plastic that I brought. My concept was, instead of using steel chain and other components that can corrode, I wanted a Monel bail with Delrin thimbles and nylon line so that it would be very low corrosion, low chafe, strong, and a little flexible. I had to do a little bit of hand finishing to get the right shape. The mooring block itself was created by Randy Cates at Cates International, and Randy also has a great idea for making rope splicing more secure, coating the entire splice when you're completed with 3M 5200. He uses the polyethylene tanks from an old decommissioned floating dock as the form for the concrete blocks that he makes for the moorings. Embedded in the concrete is heavy gauge steel chain for lifting and attachment. Here's the completed Monel bail, Delrin thimbles, and 1.25" nylon line set in the form, ready for concrete. Randy and his crew put together 2 mooring blocks. One is for Kuewa and one for one of the commercial tourist operations in Kaneohe Bay. The completed mooring block is just under 8,000 pounds. Randy has lots of fun equipment he gets to play with. The mooring deployment vessel was this 70-foot LCM landing craft. Besides deploying moorings, the landing craft is used for the contract Randy has with the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology for transporting equipment and personnel to and from Coconut Island, where the institute is located. We tied up out at the end of the Heiakea Pier, where the heavy concrete mooring blocks were lashed alongside the LCM. The boom truck operator was very skillful at slowly pushing the vessel off the dock using the weight of the mooring block and then lowering it into position. It was lashed with one probably 1 3/4 to 2 inch nylon braided line that was going to be sacrificial. That's what would be cut when the mooring is deployed. After the other guy's mooring was lashed to the starboard side, we turned the landing craft around and did the same thing to lash Kuewa's mooring to the port side. Remember, these things are 8,000 pounds each. After placing the other guy's mooring, we were off to the other end of the bay to drop Kuewa's. Used the small marker buoy that I had placed and the GPS coordinates to get the right spot.
Okay, go for it.
on site for no more than 5 minutes. So now we've got some important work to do and then get going out to the islands.
My black pocketbook in the main compartment.
And maybe a little sailing with friends as well.